The recession and depression has already begun. There are workers not showing up to work out in the fields because they're afraid of being deported. So you're guaranteed to see crops rotting in the fields. Now, the tariffs, which are going to hit Canada, Mexico, and China, are going to be in effect beginning on Saturday, meaning that the things you buy, from food to electronics, are guaranteed to get much more expensive because a tariff is a tax on an imported good. He's imposing a 25% tariff on imports and an additional 10% for anything coming over from China. China's come out to 35, so an additional 10%, that's a 35% tariff on Chinese goods by the fascist grifter. Take a look at all the stuff you own, your electronics. Much of it comes from China. Take a look at where your phone was made from. The amount of time from the election to the time that the tariffs are instituted is 88 days. And Trump is Gamache of 88 and the tariff of 25% on goods coming from Canada and Mexico. So 88 days after the election, the tariffs begin, and we are repeating Herbert Hoover's experiment before the Great Depression. Herbert Hoover is Camacho 78. Donald Trump is 78 at the time of his election and inauguration. So, not many people know Hoover slapped tariffs on goods coming from out of the country. The tariffs are a big reason, were a big cause of the Great Depression. So it's only history repeating itself. Depression is Gamache of 124. Notice how it's 12 weeks and 4 days from the election to February the 1st. So Armageddon is coming. Day-to-day life is just going to get more expensive for hundreds of thousands and millions of people across the country. America is at the mercy of stupid people who had to Google what is a tariff, not before they voted, but after they voted. And they even asked on Google, can I change my vote? This really did happen. This shows you that just half of the country is completely stupid. That they don't even research this stuff, how this stuff is actually going to affect them in a very, very short period of time. This really did happen right after the election. But elections have consequences, and don't blame me, don't blame us. We voted for Kamala. This is exactly what you voted for. So don't complain, don't moan, don't bitch, don't cry, because this is exactly what you voted for. And then Trump says inflation is not my priority. Wow, what a big slap in the face to every single voter of this country. What a mitigated disaster. Fired the AVA officials, and then we had a big plane accident by the Potomac. He has gotten rid of Biden's caps on prescription drugs, so Donald Trump has raised the prices of prescription drugs for thousands of people across this country. His big fat ego wants to slap his name onto Greenland and rename the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America, but not one executive order on bringing down the prices of our groceries. What a disaster. What a disaster Trump and the billionaires are. What a disaster. Elon Musk wants to dismantle. This is the Libertarian Party and the billionaires' pipe dream. They want to dismantle the entire federal government and privatize everything. That is their endgame. Many services that people depend on will no longer exist if the Republicans have their way for however amount of time they stay in power. And Trump admitted that grocery prices were not Joe Biden's fault. Oh, we have a lot of supply chain issues. Also, it wasn't Joe Biden's fault. He did say this on ABC News. I know he did. But, we have a lot of supply chain issues. Oh, who knew? Who knew? Who knew we had supply chain issues? Who knew? Who out there says we need to go after the price gougers? I have a plan to go after price gouging. What he said nothing about going after the price gougers. Only Kamala Harris did. This is exactly what people voted for. The supply chain is still broken. It's broken. It wasn't Biden's fault. He admitted it wasn't Biden's fault. What a disaster. What a disaster. What a disaster. He blames the plane crash on DEI. He politicizes it. He says, I'm not giving any funding for the California wildfires. He thinks he's only president for his base. But, I've already seen what 4 years of Donald Trump is like, and people are either stupid or they have the memory of a goldfish. That non-voters are just as culpable for this.